Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle Reiki Spiritual Healer, and we are talking about the effects of black matter on the body and on the mind. So when these warlocks and witches are sending out negative energy to your body, they want to first catch you in a vulnerable state. And so that's why many times they'll do this when you're younger. They'll do this type of attack on you when you're asleep. And we've talked about this many times, but in this way, that black matter from the black magic, that entity, that hatred, that kind of attachment that they're sending to your body and mind is easier to enter when you're in a vulnerable state. This type of negative energy likes to hide on your left side. It likes to attach to that side, although it can hide anywhere in your body. But usually, it likes to hide on the left side so that it can cause negative energy in order to enter your heart. It wants to control the right side of you so that you never get the goodness that is sent from God, the blessings. It wants to disrupt those blessings that you have in your timeline. It wants to disrupt those good blessings, the good energy, the frequency that God has given you on that right side, so that you can become one of those who are in alignment with the entity, so that you can start practicing manipulation, telling lies, engaging in sacrifices of your wealth, your health, your children, your family. So when we're engaged in these types of negative, low vibrational states, that type of entity, the black magic, is able to subdue our bodies and our mind. It's able to subdue our spirit. So a lot of us want to believe that, there's nothing that we have to do. And this is why I designed this channel, because if you are still under the impression that you don't have to do anything when people have attacked you in this way, whether you were younger and you found out that you had warlocks in your family, or whether you were older and you were following warlocks, uncles and aunts, people in the street, gangs, people that you wanted to be like, that is a sure way to allow those types of entities to enter your body. When you start trying to mimic and you start trying to be like other people who have these types of negative intentions towards you. And many times we do not know where these types of frequencies are coming from. And all we have to do is start having a prayer life. We start engaging and coming in connection, in alignment with our God man, our godly life. And we are able to understand that these negative entities, these people, they do not like that when you start to pray, when you have a connection to God. When you have a connection that breaks their frequencies, then you will have an understanding. You will have an understanding that they are no longer able to have those attachments to you. They're no longer able to have those frequencies attached to your heart and your mind. So in many times, if you have been in alignment with these people for a very long time, it will start affecting your health. So this is what's going on in our community right now, where, and I have been talking about this, where we have the young people who are attacking the mothers and fathers, who has used these frequencies, who has used witchcraft on their own children. And, some of those frequencies are allowing your children to be raised by the television, just sitting them in front of the television because you don't want to be a parent. Sitting them in front of a video game because you don't want to be a parent and explain, what the do's and don'ts are, what their role is, to have them respect, and not only respect you, but fear God. So we want to make sure that we are reading against these types of people who are warlocks in our lives, those witches that are in our lives, but we also want to make sure that we're praying against those negative entities that have attached in our hearts and minds, where we want to be in proximity to these warlocks and witches who are hustlers, and they are definitely getting the benefit of that negative energy of just being hustlers, men and women on the block. They haven't given anything back to their families. They haven't, represented their families, but they were able to go and buy old school cars and fix them up with candy paint. They were able to pretend that they were in proximity to their master, but they have not built up their home life. They have not built up their community. And so now that they are in their old age and they have no choice, they cannot keep doing the same thing that they've been hustling on the block for 20 and 30 years. They have nothing saved up, and they have nothing laid up with their own people. Their own people, they have made them an enemy to them. So we have these people in our lives that are warlocks and witches, the hustlers of our times, that have not, built anything in society, that does not own anything, but they wanted to look good, and they wanted to make sure that everyone saw them for who they are. A lot of them are in these high rises, and like I said, as a caregiver, I have seen a lot of these men and women who were the hustlers on the block at that time. They're in these high rises, and they're in addictive patterns that they cannot break out of. They're in patterns where they want to be looked up to, and they're no longer in those spaces so that they can be, a part of the hierarchy in society for being a hustler. Okay? And they're sickly in these spaces. That negative energy, that attempting to mock people, that attempting to send out negative frequencies to those people who they were in competition with, it has backfired on them. They have become sick. Their spree wells, their candy paint, their old school cars, their beat in their cars mean nothing now. And a lot of them have to sell those things. And they have fallen in line in proximity to our ancestors of old. They wanted the ways of the ancestors to be repeated so that they enslaved their own people. So these sicknesses and diseases have taken over those types of people. They have been separated from the chosen ones because they did nothing good in their life with the resources that they had, except for to exhibit how to be greedy, how to be envious and jealous of other people who were doing better than them in life, or who they could not encompass their knowledge. They wanted to be like our fathers of old, who, did not pour back into the family, and now they have no resources of women or children to rely upon. And we can see this happening, and this is what we were cleansing, those people who were hiding in the shadows, who were pretending to be good people in our communities, in our families, but they were actually envious and greedy. And that negative energy that they have sent out in the family, in community, those people that they have harmed in the community, with their addictive behaviors, with the hustling that they were doing, not to go and buy, a farm, not to put people to work, but to look good with cars and you know, things that were meaningless. Those types of entities have backfired upon these people, and they are feeding off their bodies. So I hope that you have received this message of how these sicknesses and this black matter has entered into some of our people to separate them from us, why they are being separated and why they are alone and isolated in their old age. So I hope that you received this message. Please like, share, and subscribe to me. You can book your one-on-one life coaching sessions or your video chat sessions. Book your consultation so I can acclimate a gift to your situation. I'm High Oracle, Reiki spiritual healer. Assalamu alaikum.